Hello again, I am Jim Bob and welcome to another episode of F1 Manager 22 here on the PS5. It's challenge mode and we're heading to Monza for the Italian Grand Prix. Round 16 of our third and final championship on this version of the game. The new version has now been pre-ordered. It is coming out in just over a month, 6 weeks I think, until that comes out now. Give or take 6, maybe 7, but yeah, maybe less than that actually. I think between 5 and 6 weeks. It's not far off, so we need to crack on and get this particular campaign finished, and the target is still to try and win the Constructors' Championship. The Drivers' Championship would be really nice. That'd be the icing on the cake, but I want the Constructors' title. You know, as we currently stand, we are 30 points clear going into Monza from Red Bull. It's a lot tighter, though, in the Drivers' Championship. As you can see, Felipe leads Max Verstappen and his teammate by just 4 points. It really is just a three-way battle for the Drivers' title, and a very, very close one at that. Max definitely has the edge, given that he is the better driver and has the better car, but we have seen some very strange strategy calls from Red Bull this season, and we have been in some very nice positions as far as our own car goes and our own strategy at some of the races this year, so really kind of hoping that we can carry that momentum forward and see how we go. Right, let's just say hello to chat. Evening, Farah, Mr. Water, good to see you guys. Am I feeling better? Yes. Yeah, this last couple of nights, not slept particularly well. Even that last night, I was tired, I couldn't sleep, and in the end, I was still awake at like 8 o'clock this morning, and then finally fell asleep. Like 12 hours, 13 hours after I said I was too tired to stream. I was up for another 13 hours before I finally, passed out and... So, yeah, very, very strange, but I'm feeling energized at the moment. I've got some energy. I'm ready to go, ready to jump back in. So, Stray is the only one of the PlayStation Plus games you want to play. Yeah, it's a good game, Stray. It's really good. Right, let's advance. Let's see. This circuit should be good for our car. We've got a couple of low speed corners, followed by a medium speed, and then it's pretty much flat out for the rest of the lap, as you can see. So let's see how our car is looking, because it's been a while and I can't remember just where our strengths and weaknesses lie. Let's have a look. We are 5th in straight line speed. That's not too bad. Our dirty air, low air performance seems to have taken a little bit of a knock again coming into this Grand Prix. But everything else is very good, which for this circuit is definitely a bonus. If we do a straight comparison to Red Bull, there you can see Max's car definitely the fastest in a straight line. However, their cornering performance is a bit pants. Let's see exactly how much of a difference there is between us in terms of figures. You can see there's quite a substantial difference. 0.4. 0.04 G. Doesn't sound like a lot. It's actually quite a fair bit. That will certainly help us in the low speed. Medium speed's a little bit closer. High speed, very close. And then we go down to the dirty air, and it's a big difference in the dirty air in terms of percentages. Look at that. We've got 2.5% over them in dirty air, low speed cornering. Nearly 3% in medium speed. And... again, about 2.5% in the high speed. So we've got some real cornering advantages, which will hopefully make it very easy for us to follow and get some good slipstreaming through the fast corners. Let's set our targets for the race. What do we want to do here? Let's see. Reach Q3. Yes. We're going to try and get both drivers into the top 8 for quali. This is one of those circuits where just the odd 10th can really make a difference when it comes to qualifying. So I don't want to be overconfident for quali, but I think in the race we'll certainly be a lot stronger than we are in quali. Reach Q2, both cars should easily be able to do that. The finish position 2 in the top 8 is the target. I think we can do that. Fastest lap, we'll go for that. And we've got our streaks that are going as well. Right, that's that done. Let's head to Monza.
Welcome to Life in the Fast Lane. We're here at Monza in Italy, the home of Ferrari. But who will take home the points this weekend? Let's find out as we get started with the Italian Grand Prix. Monza, a centurion among circuits, dripping with motorsport history. Expect to see cars fly by, as 80% of the track is tackled at full throttle. It's not all go, however, and brakes can be prone to overheating through the tight chicanes that Monza has to offer. This is it. We're down to the last few races of the season, and it's time for that final push. Who will be crowned champion at the end of it all? We'll find out soon enough. Okay then, let's get to it.
So, weather-wise, potentially a wet quali. That'll make things interesting if that is going to be a wet quali and not a wet practice. Obviously, we won't know till Saturday itself. Let's go ahead and get our cars set up. As always, we are no longer putting our reserve driver in the car for the rest of the season. We want to really focus on just getting our drivers as prepped as possible for the Grand Prix. So we're going to start on the hard tyres. And for Monza, we want to do 19 laps in this opening session for each run. Oops. There we go. And let's take a look at the car parts. So we definitely want to take these engines out and put in some battered old rubbish that we've got knocking around in the back of the warehouse. There we go. ERS modules, same again, swapping those out. Gearbox, we'll go with that one and that one. Trying to manage our supply, if at all possible, get through the season without penalties. We might have to take a penalty if we get towards the end of the season and we are really struggling for pace. That fresh engine might give us that little extra injection of pace that we need to really push for the titles. So our cars are prepped. We need to do the setup plan now. So let's have a look. It's quite a low downforce circuit. So we want front wings in the region of around 1 to 2 in that kind of window. We're going to go with a 1, a 9 as our starting setup here. We're going to go with a 1.9 on the roll bar, a 3.1 on the camber, and a 0.95 on the toe. Let's see how that one works out. And for our second car, we'll try something a little bit different. Again, we're going to go with a 9. And I'm going to go with, let's have a look. I'm going to go with a 0.5 and a 2.8. And then we'll have a 2.95 and a 0.65. Let's see if that works. I get the feeling of the two cars that we're going to need to change, this is probably the one that's going to need the most work, but we'll see how we go. Right, time to hit the track.
Ready to check? Ready to check. Okay, it should be green now.
There we go, let's have a quick look. Is anyone throwing out reserve drivers today? Doesn't look like it. Alright, so our boys are taking to the track, taking to Monza. And speaking of Monza, We've got some F1 manager news. And it's not unexpected news. Although the timing of the announcement is a little unexpected. I was expecting it to be a little bit later that we would hear this, but the backlash has been a lot stronger than I was expecting, and probably a lot stronger than the devs were expecting as well. And that is that there will be a post-launch patch. And I say, speaking of Monza, they're aiming to release it in September around Monza. The time of the Monza Grand Prix in real life, which will allow us to switch teams, at the end of a season. So, it looks like it's going to be a generic, just, do you want to stay, or do you want to go? Rather than being approached by another team. And it looks like you're going to have that option every season, based on some of the comments that I've read. But this was the most, if not the most, certainly one of the most requested features to be added into this version of the game, the new version of the game that was coming, because so many people were disappointed that it wasn't in 22, in the current version of the game. And I have to say, I'm amazed that they didn't announce it as one of the features. And as soon as I realised that it wasn't going to be a starting feature, I knew at some point it was going to have to be patched in as a post-release patch. Because there would be a lot of uproar from people saying the only way I would consider buying the next one is if it's got the ability to switch teams. I was expecting that backlash to really start hitting home after the game had been released. It's hit home so much that they've already announced that patch is in the works and will be released in September, a month and a bit before the game's even been released. So, it's a little bit surprising that that's happened so quickly. Not surprising that it's happened.
How does it feel?
I was certainly expecting that to be the case. Just like I said, I didn't expect that announcement to come quite so soon. But there we go. Yeah, we will have the ability to leave the team that we're managing at the end of a season and go to a different team, which I'm all in favour of. I think that is something that should have been in 22. I'm amazed it wasn't. I was disappointed when I realised it wasn't going to be in 23. Fully expected it to get patched in at some point, probably 2-3 months after the game had been launched, and now we're only going to get it, about 2 months after it's been launched by the look of it. So, yeah, kind of where I was expecting in terms of the window, just the announcements come sooner than I thought it would.
I think there's been contact.
We have had a crash. That's not good. Oh, Schumacher, what have you done? He's locked up and driven straight into us.
And that's a big smash.
Okay, how bad is the damage? Just minor front wing damage. That's not too bad. I don't know if any of those parts took an extra bit of a knock. It's possible they did, but I don't think that really matters. And we're quite good with the setups as well. 96% with Felipe's car. Was surprised to see that, actually. I thought this one would be somewhere in the high 70s, low 80s. And 91% for Freddie. So more work to do with his car than Felipe's. Again, just not quite what I was expecting. I thought it'd be the other way around.
Ridley. Copy.
Alright, let's have a look then. What can we do? So, the cornering needs to change. The quickest way for us to do that is to drop the camber. I'm going to try doing that and then correct the toe. I don't know if I'm going the right way here. Might be going the wrong way, but we'll give that a go. Let's see. I need to make a tweak to braking stability in the front wing. So let's try that. A little minor correction to do that, and then let's go there, and let's see how that works. No, just fine. Ignore me. Talk about air conditioning units. That's fine. Yeah, big heat wave potentially coming in mid-July. They reckon it could be even hotter than last year's 40-degree high, which was obscenely hot. And for those of you non-UK listeners, viewers, who are wondering why we're complaining about, you know, temperature being up in the 30s, which is really hot for us, it's not a question of how hot it is, but how much hotter it is than normal. So about 34 degrees, I think, in Celsius equates to around about 90 degrees Fahrenheit for the Americans out there. And there'll be people saying, we have 90 degree weather all the time. Yeah, imagine you're used to 90 degree weather and then you wake up and it's 120 or it's 110, and you really feel that difference immediately, and you suffer immediately because it's something so much more than you're used to. It's the same over here. When we have temperature, you know, good average weather for us is mid-20s, maybe high 20s. High 20s starts to get a little bit hot for us. When it gets up to 30, that's hot. That's really hot. We actually hit 40 degrees last summer, which was just obscene. Really bad. And it's going to potentially be even hotter than that in a couple of weeks' time. And one other thing to consider as well is that homes in the UK are built with a very different philosophy to homes in America, where America, it's all about AC. Homes are built to exhaust the heat as easily as possible. Our homes are built to keep the heat in. And yeah. And so when the weather goes to the point where the temperature gets higher and higher and higher, as it has been over the last few years in the summer, and starts hitting those extremes for us, we really suffer. I'm on the third floor of a house, and it's horrible up here compared to down on the ground floor. All the heat from the rest of the house rises and then just collects at the top of the stairs right into my room, and yeah, it's a sauna when the weather gets really bad. It's horrible. I'll sit here without a t-shirt on, just absolutely dripping when the weather's bad, because it's just too hot. So yeah, there you go. A little overview of English weather for you there. How you doing, Wildman? Alright, are we going to get all of our feedback in time? It's going to be close. I think we should just about do it. As far as difficulty of the game goes, they've said that they're going to be going to more details about the AI improvements soon. It is something they have mentioned, that they've improved the AI, but they haven't really gone into details. That's coming up in the next dev focus, I think. So we should hear more about that pretty soon. As far as the changing teams things, there's going to be a proper announcement on Friday. So we'll have more details, exactly what that is going to entail on Friday. But until then, yeah, my theory is that it's just going to be at the end of the season, do you want to change teams, do you want to stay? That kind of option, you know, just... I know you can't change until the end of a season, so you can't leave a team midway through a season. That much I do know, based on a screenshot that I've seen. But beyond that, I don't know.
How's
Alright, 99% for Felipe's car. That is just one click of toe away from being perfect. 93% for Freddie, so he made a slight improvement of 2%. Still a little more work to do, but we did get all of the feedback in before the end of the session, so that's good. Alright, let's have a look. Oh, yeah. Okay, so we made an improvement as far as the cornering goes, but we broke the traction. So I'm going to flip that to a 2.8, because that is the strategy we're running on the other car. Let's pull that back even more. Let's go to there. And let's do that. And so the 2.8 that we ran on Freddie's car looks like, on Felipe's car, looks like it's going to be the same for Felipe. For Freddie, I keep getting these two mixed up. Felipe's setup looks like we're going to import that onto Freddie, and that's going to work for him as well. There we go. I'll get it right in the end. So one click of toe. Which way do we go? Let's go that way. Let's go to a 0.8, and let's just look at bringing that down, and yeah, that's not going to work, is it? So I'll go back to what it was. There we go, and then just make that change. There we go. Right. Cars are set. Let's put them onto medium tyres for this run, and we're going to go for, let's see, let's go for 26 laps. There we go, into practice 2.
Radio check, radio check.
Radio check.
It's green now.
So, some more gaming news for you, some Dark Descent news. I have completed the campaign. I've been playing in story mode in my own time, just to work on some of the trophies. In particular, the one I wanted to do was to complete the campaign without losing a single Marine. And I figured it would be quicker and easier to do that on story than doing it on a harder difficulty and having to constantly reload and autosave to keep backtracking if a Marine went down. So, yeah, that's done. I'm going to be tackling it on Nightmare mode very soon, and that is probably going to replace our current live stream series for Dark Descent, because that one is soft locked and completely unplayable right now. Can't progress that campaign at all. I've tried rolling back saves. It's too far gone, unfortunately. So rather than just waiting for the patch that might fix that issue but might not, I'm just going to start from scratch. I've already done the first level on Pioneer Station tutorial thing. So question is, would you guys like me to pick up from the end of mission 2, which is kind of where we got to, or just start again from mission 1 at Dead Hills? A little bit of ERS damage, that's absolutely fine. Start from mission 1. That's kind of what I was hoping would be the reaction. That's kind of where I want to start. You know, I've already gone ahead and taken loads of screenshots from bits and bobs throughout the other campaign I played to use as thumbnails. So I've got a whole series of potential images there, and we'll try and break the game up into chunks. So what I might do is because I don't have an editing suite that I can really do much with. My editing software is Share Factory on PlayStation, where maximum length I can record is 1 hour. Maximum length I can import to be edited down to an hour is about an hour and a half at most, maybe an hour 20 minutes worth of footage. And then again, I can't exceed an hour as the completed project. So what I might do is I might stream for a bit, get to a point where I think, okay, this is a good break point, end the stream, and then immediately start the stream again, so that we've got a separation of bits, break the game up so it's not all 3-4 hour streams. It's like an hour and a half to maybe 2 hours, and then a break, and then another hour and a half or so. Make it a little bit easier to watch and give a little bit more structure to the series, I think. Question: can you go all season without using reserves? What will happen? Good, bad, or nothing? When you say reserves, do you mean reserve driver? Yes, you can. You don't have to use your reserve driver. What will happen? Your reserve driver just won't gain that much experience. They'll gain less experience than drivers who are, in the lower formula, in Formula 2 or Formula 3, because those guys will be actively racing. That's going to change with the next instalment. We're waiting for more details as to exactly how experience is going to be earned and allocated.
What's your thoughts on coming in or doing any more?
96%. We're getting there with Freddie. We're almost there. What about Felipe? Did we get that to 100? But yes, you can go the entire season without using reserve driver. It just means that reserve driver will gain very little experience passively through the season. Oh, we went the wrong way. Okay, we can click that back the other way. Yeah, it doesn't hurt your main drivers. Doesn't hurt your car development. It doesn't hurt your team performance in any way, shape, or form. It stunts that reserve driver's development a little bit. You don't use them at all? Well, you see, you don't have to. I mean, the thing with most reserve drivers is you have to look at them as one of two ways. They're there just to fill the required seat, and you don't care about them at all. Or you're looking to develop them to become one of your lead drivers in the future, and you want to really improve him as much as possible. So taking a driver like Teo Pourchaire or Oscar Piastri, or even R2, Drugovich and Vesti, will take some work, a lot more work with these two than, say, Piastri or Pourchaire, but you'll be able to develop them in the way that you want them to develop, rather than the way that the AI just randomly allocates out their points, which can have a big impact in how they they develop. Sometimes the game might allocate points on a kind of an evenish basis. Sometimes they might focus very heavily on just a couple of areas. I don't know if there's a set rhythm, set algorithm or set routine that the AI goes through when it comes to allocating out points, or if it's randomized. But yeah, that's how it goes. Whereas when you're putting your driver in for practice one in every Grand Prix, that driver's getting a lot of extra experience on top of the passive stuff he's earning while he's part of your team. So you can really ramp up how quickly he develops, and you can choose exactly where those points go, as opposed to just letting the AI randomly distribute those points in the background if they were not part of your team.
I think someone's run wide.
So like I said, if you're really looking to take a young driver and really mold him in the image that you want him to be, create the perfect driver for your plans, utilizing the reserve driver, very good thing to do. If you don't really care about the reserve driver, you want to focus mainly on just your main two drivers, and you don't really care about reserve drivers, so someone like Stoffel Van Dorn or Robert Kubica or Jack Aitken, just someone young and rubbish that you have no real desire to ever really amount to anything on the grid, or someone old past their prime and it's just there to fill a seat, like Kubica, and to a lesser degree, Stoffel, and just put them on a long contract with low wages and just ignore them from that point on. Yes, Farah, I have completed Dark Descent. Right, we've made the changes. It's time for final day practice and then quali. Where is the weather going to come? Is it going to be in this session or the next one? We're at 75% track knowledge, so 22 laps might be enough. I'll go 23 just to be started. 22 will be fine. We're going to go with the low pace. We're running soft tyres in this session. Hopefully these changes that we've made will sort out Freddie's car. These will definitely fix Felipe's car, get that to 100. It's just a question of whether we're going to have to break up this running session with some wet weather racing or not. Or wet weather driving. And yes, we're going to have wet weather in this session. So we'll get a little bit of quick time on track on the softs while we can. And then we'll come in, switch to inters and finish our runs on inters. Is my verdict unchanged? Yes. Someone was actually asking me questions in the comments on stream episode number 3 about what I thought of the game and what the performance, how it runs on a PS5, etc. And I said, this game, Dark Descent, it kind of perfectly encapsulates everything that is Aliens, as in the movie Aliens from 1986, whereas Isolation perfectly encapsulates everything from Alien from the 70s. And if you're a fan of the franchise, both of those games are essential purchases. There are other games that I think do good service to the franchise, but are not essential purchases if you're unless you're like a really die-hard fan. I would throw Alien Fireteam Elite into that category. It's a fun game. It's a little limited. It's a little light on content, and it does a good job of being faithful to the lore and the history of the franchise. But it's not an essential purchase.
There is a small
Dark Descent for me is like Alien Isolation. It's an essential purchase for those of you who are fans of the franchise. They both offer very different experiences, but they are modelled after very different styles of movie. The first movie is a survival horror movie. The second, and so the game is a survival horror game. The second movie is kind of an action game, and so the game itself reflects that as an action game. Very different play styles, but both very true to their kind of source material. Okay, we're still waiting on the feedback because we only did a very short run. That's fine. Just going to throw on some inters and send them back out. Let's just have a quick look. Did we nail something? No, we only got great. Okay, so really be that. Now, I guess it could. Let's give that a try. We'll make a slight tweak here. If you don't think you've played Alien Isolation, shame on you. That game is phenomenal. I actually live streamed it several years ago for Halloween on hard difficulty, I think it was. And it was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was a game I'd actually had for like 6 years by that point. I hadn't got round to playing. And then finally sat down and played. The game's nearly 10 years old. It still holds up to today, to this very day. And right now, it is on sale for like 6, 7, 8 quid. In the PlayStation sale. So, highly recommend that one. If you've played and enjoyed some of the Resident Evil remakes of recent years, that would be in my guess the closest thing that you could say in terms of a comparison to Alien Isolation. Not played them, but I've seen them. I still need to get my platinum on Isolation. I just need to do a run without dying. That's it. That's the only trophy I need. Complete the game without dying. And there is a caveat to that. You can roll back and autosave a little bit, but you have to roll back more than just the previous save. You have to roll back to the save before the previous save. Otherwise the game will register that you died. But once I've done that, that's it. Platinum trophy. So what I might do is I might actually just save that till Halloween this year and stream that as a platinum stream and just do it all in one sitting. We'll see. I'm still not sure on whether I'm going to do that or not. There we go, both our drivers are back on track. This rain isn't going to last forever. Oh, is that a crash? It is a crash. We've lost a bit of front wing.
A closer look. So this was the Aston Martin.
We were hit, weren't we? Again, someone diving up the inside, locking up and catching us.
Me, that is a serious collision. Was that a crash? Multiple cars, I think.
So that's a penalty for one of the Alfa Romeos. I'm not quite sure which one. I'm going to go ahead and say Gasly because he's closest to us on track. Oh, it could be Vettel. They're both pretty close. They're both almost nose to tail.
How does it feel?
There we go, 100% with Felipe. I've got a bit more running to do yet with Freddie. He obviously was sat in the garage for longer. What should you focus on allocating points for the drivers? Depends on what their strengths and weaknesses are, but if you want them to be quick and make less mistakes, then as a general rule, the main stats you want to focus on are your braking, then cornering, then reactions, and accuracy. Those are like the 4 key stats that will get your drivers really quick. If they're really low in their consistency, I forget what the actual stat's called. We'll have a look at the end of the stream. Then that's something you really want to think about, maybe boosting a little bit. If they've got really, really bad smoothness and they're just eating their tyres, and I'll throw out Piastri as an example, who's like 48%, I think, on his smoothness, or Doohan, who's like 42% on smoothness, really rough on the tyres. You can push them up to about 60 and leave it at that, but you shouldn't really need to go too much higher than that. Anything above that's really just a bonus. And you just have to be careful with your pace and tyre strategy until their smoothness improves a little bit.
This was the Aston Martin. They go.
But focusing on improving the brake cooling of your car can certainly help improve your tyre wear as well. Alright, so that lockup is going to extend how long Felipe has to stay on track. I'm going to leave him out there. Actually, no, he's just locked up, hasn't he? Let's just bring him in. Put him onto a set of softs, because he's flattened his curve, so he's going to have to effectively start from scratch again. So, yeah, let's get him onto some proper tyres. Vesti we will leave out there. He's almost finished his feedback. He's gaining track knowledge at a quick rate at the moment, because he's into that part of his run. So we'll just let him melt those inters. He won't be quick, but he doesn't need to be. Let's throw that set of softs back on that we used at the start of the run before the rain fell.
What's your thoughts on
97%. We
coming in or
still didn't
doing any
nail
more?
it. But he's in the optimal window, so that's good enough to get him up to the 15 out of 15 bonus, I think. No, he's at 14 at the moment. Alright, let's try and get his track knowledge up to 100 and see if that fixes that. If the car part knowledge keeps going up, that will also help. And there we go, it's hit 15 out of 15. So we can call him in. There we go. Let's take a quick look, see if it's something that's an easy fix. It is... It's not going to be an easy fix, I don't think. That's a gamble. I could knock the car out the window. I'm not going to make the change. I'll leave it as it is. It doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be good enough. And it's right now it's good enough to get me that full 15 out of 15 bonus. That's something I would like to see. I mean, I know that they're changing the way the ratings are going to work in terms of setup and everything for driver. Going to have an impact on driver confidence. I would like to see car predictability factored into setups going forward. So if you have a setup that's makes the car very unpredictable, very twitchy, generates too much oversteer or too much understeer or alternates between the two, I'd like the car to have more, the setups to have more of an impact on how the car behaves and the car handles, rather than just
Good
how
session.
comfortable your driver is, or how many bonus points it's going to give them to their stats. Right, so we had rain in practice. Does that mean we're not going to get rain in quali? Let's find out in just a moment. Let's put the good stuff into the car first of all. So we want our best engine, because it's Monza. It is the cathedral of speed, so we need a very fast car. Let's throw in our best ERS module, and we want a good gearbox for this circuit as well. Let's go with that one, that'll be fine, and that one will be fine as well. And off we go to quali.
Radio check.
Radio check.
They should be green
Alright,
now.
no rain at the start of quali. I'm going to wait before I do my run. I'm going to wait too long, but I just want the track to clean up just a little bit. There we go, that should do. Let's send them out now. So send them out nose to tail. Slipstreaming is going to be crucial for qualification here. I think all for really good qualification. You're going to see some drivers just really benefit from a tow down the straights. Right, so who's that in front of us? That is Vettel and Hamilton. And let's see, Hamilton's just done his lap, I think. Yeah, Hamilton and Vettel both on in laps. I've got Albon behind me on a flyer. There he goes. And it looks as though Felipe's really dropped off the back as a result of Albon coming through. So they're not going to be able to slipstream each other. I'm expecting Vettel to pull out of the way soon. About halfway along that back straight, going into Parabolica, is where we're going to really turn up the power. And we should whiz through at that point. Or maybe he's going to wait till the exit of Parabolica. Oh, this could potentially hurt it. Oh, there we go. So the entrance to Parabolica is where he turns it up. Vettel gets out of the way. Might even have given Felipe a little bit of a tow through Parabolica there before diving into the pits. So we've got Albon in front of us, who is on an in-lap now. We've also got Tsunoda in front on an outlap. Magnussen in front on an outlap. Those two we are going to come into contact with once we get past Albon. Hopefully Albon will not hold up our drivers here. Oh, it's not good. That hurts Freddie. Here comes Felipe. Is he going to get a nice slingshot tow? Yes, he is. Having to thread the eye of the needle there. That's compromised our entry into the Scari. That's not good. So not a great lap for Vesti here. Drogovic will get a nice little tow from the back of Magnussen there. And we go through Parabolica. Vesti up to the line. He goes 7th. Half a second off Ocon. Drogovic was slower, which I was not expecting, but he was purple in that final sector. So neither of our drivers getting a particularly clean run. But we've got time for another one at the end of the session. And that one should go a lot cleaner and a lot smoother. But at least we've got a time on the board. If there's a mistake in this next run, or from either us or one of the other drivers that causes a yellow flag, that is pretty much it. So at least we've got a banker lap in. Oh, we do have rain 2 minutes out apparently. I don't think we do, but cancel. I need to actually put those tyres back on the car. That could have been bad. Oh, what's going on? Why is Vesti not reconfirmed? No, don't do this to me. Vesti's not going to get another run. Well, Vesti should be safe. I hope. Felipe, not so much. Let's try and sneak him out here. In amongst the fast cars. Going to come out behind the two Ferraris. Yep, that'll do for me. And Vesti's going to miss quali. For whatever reason, his car is being reconfigured very slowly. I don't think I changed anything. I'm not quite sure why it's taking this long to reconfigure the car, but kind of glad I have got a time that should get him through. So, here we go. Just to make sure that Felipe gets through, because there's a lot of cars that will go quicker. Sights will go quicker. Again, I think we're too far off for a slipstream. Sights will probably improve. Norris could well improve. Magnussen may well improve. Leclerc will definitely improve. Gasly will definitely improve. Schumacher could well improve. So it's going to be very tight at the bottom. And depending on which McLaren's which, Norris might improve as well. Yeah, it looks like we are too far off, I think, to get a slipstream. But by the same token, we are far enough ahead to not really get a slipstream to the Red Bull behind us. Not that it really needs one. Leclerc's tucked up behind that Williams. It's giving him a slipstream, but it's also going to hurt him a bit in the corners. It's going to help Sainz, who I think is directly in front of us. Or is it the other way around? Yeah. Sainz is probably going to get more benefit. There we go. That's what we are capable of pace-wise. And that was in pretty clean air. There wasn't a huge toe effect there. Leclerc did get a little boost off the back of that Williams, but he will have been held up in some places a little bit towards the end as well. Is Vesti going to be safe? He should be. Last car across the line, and yes, he is. So there we go. We have got some pace here. Now, is there going to be rain? Oh, apparently I did change something, and the confidence has gone up to 99%. Maybe I clicked... Oh, I don't know what it was, but for whatever reason, yeah, we're at 99%. So we've improved an extra 2% in terms of driver confidence. Must have changed the front wing without realising it. And that'll be why it took so long to get his car turned around. No rain in this session, so we're just going to sit and wait till the end of the session.
Sounds like we've had a spin.
Alpine's looking very quick again. Let's get a little bit of clean air to the back of the field. Can't wait too long. Just want to give myself that safety cushion if there's a yellow flag in front of us, that it clears before we get to it. That should be enough. So let's send both of our drivers out. And this time they are definitely going to be in slipstream range. And it's Felipe who's behind. So we'll tell him to hold off. In fact, actually, let's switch him over. There we go. Felipe has got better pace stats, and on a circuit where it's all about pure pace, I think it's probably better to put Felipe at the lead. Okay, we're going to see improvements from, probably Hamilton, definitely Vettel, definitely Perez. You can see how close it is between the the top six, just 0.3. So Freddie's purple in the first sector, thanks to the toe of his teammate. I would expect Felipe to be quicker in this sector. Well, actually, no. Thinking about it, it might be Freddie. Just going to get this toe down the back straight. Sainz in danger. Sainz is out. Knocked down by Hamilton. So we're looking at knocking out both the Mercedes here. Felipe does go purple in the middle sector. Freddie should go purple in the final sector. Oh, look at that. First and second, we've got real pace. That is glorious to see. And both the Mercedes are out. So, it's Aston 1-2, Red Bull 3-4, Alpine 5-6, 2x2 as they as they head the grid there. And then we've got McLaren, Ferrari, Alpha Tauri with Albon getting a good time in. And then Norris, we lose George Russell, Valtteri Bottas and Carlos Sainz at the end of Q2, along with Tsunoda and Vettel, who's got a 3-place penalty for clobbering us in practice, as does Schumacher have a 3-place penalty for also clobbering us in practice. Right, Q3. Can we stick it on the front row? We are going to set a banker lap at the beginning of the session.
Ready to check?
And this time, we're going to give a toe to that Red Bull, aren't we? Damn it. This time we're going to give Felipe the toe. We're going out on scrubs. The rest of the AI is going to be going out on new tyres. So this actually might work to our advantage in a little respect, because that Red Bull's not going to get full usage of brand new tyres there. Oh, it's Verstappen as well. Okay, maybe he's close enough to get a good toe. I hope he doesn't, but I think he will. We are going to reverse these two's positions for the second run at the end of the session. So it'll be Vesti getting the tow from Felipe. And I think we are far enough ahead of the Red Bull to not give it a tow. Speaking of Red Bulls, I think we've got Perez in front of us. We do. Oh, and he gets in the way. Of course he does. Thought he can pull out the way of his teammate though. Yeah, there he goes. It's not all doom and gloom for Drugovich. He's got a little bit of a gap, so he should have the opportunity to really close up again in this third sector. Is that McLaren going to get in the way? Oh god, there's a Ferrari there as well. That's not good. It's messy. A 121.5 effectively, and a couple of tenths slower. It's not enough. But it's not a great time for Verstappen either on brand new tyres. When he makes his second run, he'll be on scrubs. But if he can get a slipstream, he will improve. Oh, we got rain! I didn't even realise we got rain. Oh, I should have gone out on brand new tyres. Alright, well, we've got an extra set of tyres for tomorrow then. We're not going to get pole, but we are going to get front row and second row. Because I don't think anyone's going to improve now. Not now the rain's falling. Perez is definitely not going to improve. The track's going to be way too wet for him. Can't believe I didn't check to see if there was going to be rain in this session. You see how quickly the track's getting wet as well. Ricciardo, who's been quick, is all the way down in 8th. Norris is nearly 2 seconds off the pace. Leclerc is 2 seconds off the pace. Perez is going to be even further off the pace. He's 3 seconds off the pace. There you go, that's your running order. Because I don't think the track's going to dry up in time. It's not. So there you go. That is your running order for tomorrow's Grand Prix. We will throw on a new set of softs just in case the track does dry up at the end. I don't think it will. No, it's too far away till dry conditions. So yeah, we'll stay in the garage. There's no point going out. We're starting 2nd and 4th. That's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. So I'm thinking it's going to be a medium to soft strategy for tomorrow's race. And yeah, no one improving. Oh, if only I'd known about the weather. It's my own fault for not checking. We could have had pole, and we could potentially have improved Felipe as well.
Tension continues to build here as race day begins.
We saw a magnificent display of talent from Aston Martin during qualifying. This is as good a grade for them as anyone can hope for. The work Red Bull did during qualifying was nothing short of spectacular. Now let's see if they can repeat that for today's race. A sunny day here with only a few clouds in the sky. If things stay this way, the weather shouldn't pose any challenges to the teams.
Well, one thing we do know, this race is going to be fast, and Monza is ready for it.
Oh, excuse me. Right, so we have the potential to do really well, given where we're starting. Just hope our drivers don't make any mistakes. We're going to go medium to soft, and I'm going to bring my drivers in, I think, lap 32 and lap 31. I'm going to take 1 lap of fuel out. There we go. And let's hope Max starts on the softs.
I don't want to tempt fate, but there are quite a few clouds overhead.
No, he's starting on
as we
mediums.
look at the lineup on the grid. Taking a look at the Aston Martin. They're in second place on the grid, but that could so easily change in the first few seconds of the race. There's the second Aston Martin. Not as close to the front as they might have wished for, but we know the race order can change a lot during those first few corners. Everything's been building to this. Here we are at the oldest circuit in Europe for this, the Italian Grand Prix. And it's lights out.
So Albon's on
away we go.
softs. One of the McLarens is on softs. It's Hamilton. Both of them are. Vesti got jumped by Ocon off the line. That's okay. The whole real plan. Oh, you see Hamilton getting very aggressive on those soft tyres. He's got us both.
A good overtake from
So
Alpine.
very. Oh no, we're still fighting back.
Let's focus.
The whole plan for us here is to just sit behind and look after the tyres.
Okay,
This
good
is a
job.
race where really protecting your tyres and then being able to push where you need to is probably the best strategy. So I just want to get this first lap out of the way, then we're going to start looking after these tyres, you know, dropping the tyre pace right down and trying to prolong their life as much as we can. We're not going to try and sprint into the lead and break away because we won't have the pace to stay ahead. So being tucked up like this is going to be the best thing for us. We can save fuel and save tyres in the process.
Drop back a bit.
Yeah, copy.
Yeah, take it easy.
Yeah, copy.
Just need to be wary of Hamilton on those softs. It's a great start from Hamilton. He got past everybody for a moment, but we did manage to fight him off. But yeah, blinding start from him. Ocon with a good start as well, jumping us off the line. This is the important lap. We've already started the tyre saving, but we need to make sure that we don't get dropped by the front two. We need the DRS for this strategy to work. You know, in terms of really prolonging these tyres. And the reason we want to do that is so that when we get towards the end of the stint, we can then just sprint and push and try and open up a gap, which is really hard to do at Monza. If you've got DRS active, it's really hard to break away from the cars behind you. So I really want to kind of have as much grip available as possible so that we can just throw the tyres into full on melt and deploy all of our battery and just try and break a few seconds clear,
DRS enable.
and then have enough grip left in the tyres to actually lap faster than the front runners in the run up to the pit window. That way we can hopefully try and maintain track position and stay ahead, or at least be in a strong position, right in contention for the lead again once we come out on our softs. So it's going to be an uneventful first stint, I hope. We're just going to sit back, save a little bit of fuel, really protect these tyres, keep in touch, stay in the DRS, let the others destroy their tyres and then pounce after about 20 laps or so. And this is where we can save that fuel by being tucked up in the slipstream. We'll burn less fuel as we push. Theoretically. We still may need to do some fuel saving, but once we've got a nice tyre advantage, we can look at doing that as well. Right, Ocon's making a move on Verstappen. He's going to get him into Ascari. And you can see those who started on the softs, at least those in the top 10 who started on the softs, using scrub tyres because they used up more tyres than those who got through to who went out in Q2. So they've got a higher rate of wear over Russell and Sainz, but their tyres are already under 80%. So it's not going to be too much longer. Another 5, 6, 7, 8 laps. They're really going to start falling away a bit. And for old time's sake, let's ride the ham cam. You see Vesti having a little sniff at the inside of Ocon there. I really need to learn the names of these chicanes. I know the names of all the other corners, but not that one. So these are the Lesmos that we're coming up to. That's Lesmo 1 and Lesmo 2. But I don't know the names of the chicanes. I really do need to bone up on some of my track name knowledge. Into Ascari. Ocon having another lunge at Verstappen there into the Parabolica as we come round to start another lap. We've got a little bit of a tyre advantage starting to gain on or starting to grow against Ocon, and to a lesser extent Verstappen. As you can see, we're comfortably in the 1 second window we need to be in. We've saved 0.1 kilos of fuel so far. Not a huge amount. Let's try saving a little bit more.
Okay, suggest lift and coast.
Copy.
I'm going to do this in little fits and spurts. We're not going to do it for long periods of time because we will risk getting dropped. Plus, if a safety car comes out, we'll end up being too heavy on fuel. But I don't want us to be, 1.5 kilos, under our fuel target by the time we get around to the pit stops. Theoretically, running this kind of fuel save mode as well will also save the tyres a little bit more. And again, we can just stay tucked up in that slipstream. Side by side through the chicane. Ocon has the advantage. Can he out-drag Verstappen though? Don't think he can. Trying to go around the outside, which will become the inside then outside for the chicane, and then obviously the outside line through the Lesmos. I think Verstappen's going to retake that place. And all this scrapping in front like that means that they're lapping slower, which means we can sit in this fuel save mode and not worry about potentially getting dropped. No need for us to be quite so aggressive braking into the corners when the cars in front of us are going side by side and therefore slower through the corners. Slipstream is powerful in this game. It needs to be toned down for the next one. It's too powerful. It was right for them to dial back the DRS. I think they slightly overcompensated when they dialed up the slipstream, especially for this season, the 2023 season. It's even harder for cars to get a slipstream at the moment, so that definitely needs to be dialed back a little bit for the next iteration. It's finding that balancing act though. I mean, cars should still be able to pull away, if they've got a significant advantage. So if the Red Bull can't, a car that is so much faster than the rest of the grid this year, if that can't pull away in these circumstances here, something's wrong with the pace settings. Now you can see Vesti is slightly at risk of getting dropped, so we are going to go back into balance for a bit.
You can stop lifting.
Let them close that gap back up again. Let's take a look at the tyres. We are gaining very small incremental improvements to our tyre life compared to the rest of the grid. Hamilton and Albon's tyres are about to hit that 60% point where they will start to drop off a bit more. It's less of an impact here at Monza because of the power of the slipstream, but if they fall out of the slipstream, they will then struggle to potentially get back in it. So at some point in the next few laps, you might see me try and break away from Hamilton a little bit. Put both of our drivers into an attack mode to try and just create that 1 second gap. And if we can do that and then leave Hamilton and Albon lagging behind, when those two start scrapping, they will inevitably hold up everybody behind and create a nice little breakaway group for us. But we need to go another couple of laps before we can do that. Let's go back into fuel save mode again.
Lift and coast will help.
Copy.
So what we want to do to set this up is to start dropping back just a little bit from these front two to the point where we're close to being dropped but not actually being dropped, and then we're going to just push for a couple of laps, close right up on the back of them and try and do it quickly enough that we create that 1 second plus gap to Hamilton so that he can't then get the DRS from us, and then we've got the chance to break away because his tyres will hopefully not be able to keep pace with much more durable mediums. So we're about 7.5 tenths off, 6.5 tenths off in that kind of region. Not quite there yet. Verstappen being back in front will help with this plan, but it will also make it slightly riskier to us as well. There's a chance that we might get dropped. If we do, we should be able to just push quickly to get back into the DRS. Okay, 58%. We're almost there. Someone's gone wide. Who was it?
That sounds like someone's
That was
gone
Norris.
wide there. We can take a look now. Now just take a look at the McLaren.
Oh yeah, that's
They're way off the
that's
racing
cost him
line there. That
a
isn't good.
that's cost him the DRS. So he's dropped off the back of Perez and is now going to struggle to get back in. You can already see that gap going up. It's gone from 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds just on the run to Ascari there. So we're going to get set up to try and break away this lap.
We just need to charge up.
Okay, copy.
We're going to get a slow acceleration out of this first chicane, deliberately.
We've got loads of energy.
Copy.
Okay, energy's good.
Copy.
And that's going to get Hamilton right on the back of us. But you can see we're really opening up those gaps now.
Energy if you need it.
Copy.
So use energy if you need it.
Okay, copy.
No saving required.
Copy.
We're good
So now we're going to try and use
Copy.
the that little bit of extra grip that we had to really push the tyres on this next lap. We want to get back into the DRS, obviously, but we also want to break away from Hamilton in the process of doing that. And this switch of positions here between our two drivers should help enable that. And there we go. We've got the 1 second gap. Just need to make sure.
So back off.
Copy.
Our drivers don't do anything stupid here. And there we go, we've got a breakaway group.
Save fuel.
Copy.
So now we've got Hamilton on worn softs with Albon behind on worn softs. They're going to hold up all those cars behind who are on the mediums, which would be Ricciardo and Perez. Leclerc and Norris have already dropped 3 seconds off the back of Perez. And you should see that kind of pace drop off with Hamilton now as well. So the gap's up to 2 seconds, and wow, Perez has fought through really quickly. Perez just shot through. So we need to be wary of Perez. Let's just stop charging for a bit. Make sure we don't get dropped again. We also don't want to let Perez get too close. We want Perez and Hamilton to keep fighting. That will slow them down. I really did not expect Perez to just go, right, okay, I'm going to move up 3 places in the space of 2 corners. Once we created that breakaway, I thought he'd stay stuck behind Hamilton and Albon for a little bit longer than that. And Ricciardo, for that matter. He was behind Ricciardo as well. There we go. Right, we're in good shape. Hamilton swarming on the back of Perez. Let's ride the ham cam. Perez is closing. We need Verstappen in front. Perez is going to close that gap right back up again. All that hard work is about to be undone if we're not careful. And Hamilton just doesn't have the pace left to actually challenge Perez. All he can do is pretty much stick with him. Desperately need Hamilton to get in front. We've got a yellow flag. Is that behind us or in front of us? I'm preserving and harvesting, but yeah, but I wasn't really that far off the front leaders. I was still within the 1 second. Look at it now. Perez is 1.2 seconds behind us still, and we're right on the back of those 2 up front. We're running to Ocon's pace right now, which is not Red Bull pace. Unless we break to the front, we've got nowhere to go. So we need... Yeah, we're all concertinaing up under braking, and Perez has just closed that gap back up. We needed Hamilton to get back in front of Perez. Verstappen has got back in front of Ocon, but it's come too late for us.
We can push more.
Yeah, confirm.
Perez is comfortably back in that window, so we may as well just go back to what we were doing originally, which is just looking after the tyres. It's a shame. Like I said, I hadn't planned on Perez just swooping past 3 cars the second we created that breakaway. A nice little advantage on grip building up. Might be time for us to tyres, please. Yep, just showing you. I'll show you again. There you go. We need to think about maybe starting to position ourselves at the front of this queue. And Hamilton's in danger of getting dropped from the back of Perez. His soft tyres really starting to struggle now, down to just over 40%. Albon's just about clinging on to the back of Hamilton. Ricciardo's stuck at the moment behind Albon. Let's see if we
Pick
can
up the pace a bit.
Yeah, copy.
force a move.
Use energy.
Copy.
Doing a good job, that's going to help you.
Red Bull gained a place.
Doing a good job, keep pushing.
Alright, so we've got a run on the inside of Verstappen with a bit of a tow from Ocon. Ocon's going to go defensive to cover off Verstappen. That should give us the inside into Ascari, which it has done. And there we go, we've actually completed the move this time.
Aston Martin with a great play there. They've moved up a place.
And there we go, Hamilton, Albon, Leclerc and Russell all into the pits.
Still a lot to play for.
Felipe is primed to take the lead here.
Nicely done.
Looks like Aston Martin have just gained a race position.
We've just given DRS to Ocon for this bit. As long as we can stop Verstappen from getting through, that will be the important thing. I think he's going to get us.
Alpine just advanced.
Let's focus.
Alright, we're in the mix. Evening, Anthony. Norris and Sainz both pitting as well, so that's, I think, all the soft tyres in now. Yeah, they were the two that had started on brand new softs rather than scrubbed. And you can see we've got quite a healthy tyre margin at the moment. which is good because I do want us to push and break away from these two in a moment. We're going to be pitting in around 10-12 laps, so I want us to try and break out a little bit of a gap if I can. I do think we've got enough pace to actually break away at this point. Just need Felipe's battery fully charged for that.
We just need to charge up.
Copy.
Okay, energy's good.
Okay, copy.
That's Snowder and Bottas pitting. Okay, they're medium runners. That's early. Oh, they're going medium hards. Interesting.
Sonoda is pitting this lap.
Bottas has gone hard as well. There's quite a few cars coming in now for medium hard strategy. Oh, no. What's that going to do with the other front runners? Are we going to see them do something similar? A 24-second gap between Ricciardo and Hamilton. Hamilton obviously on fresher tyres now. He's on mediums. Probably going to go to the end on those. And this battling between the front two has allowed Ricciardo to close up as well. So this is what I was saying earlier about the drivers who are battling like this. It slows everybody else behind them down, which is what I was hoping would happen with Hamilton and Albon slowing down Ricciardo and Perez, and that just didn't happen because Perez went yoink. I don't mind if I do, and teleported himself straight through all three of them.
You can use energy.
Copy.
So back off.
Okay, copy.
Alright,
No
time to break.
saving required.
Copy.
Energy if you need it.
Yep.
Time to go aggressive. We've got 2 laps of battery, and unfortunately we've got a moving blockade in front of us. That's proving very difficult to get past. Nice. Nice. No, no, we boxed him in. Now we're boxed in. And we have to lift under braking. Got our drivers fighting each other now, which is not what we need. Come on, get up the inside of Verstappen here. There we go. This is the lap Alright, all has to count for something.
Push a bit more.
Copy.
We're under threat from Perez as well now, look. Alright, Felipe is in the lead. Let's push
You're doing a good job.
as hard as we can with Felipe.
That's it. Happy to push.
Copy.
Push now.
Okay, copy.
I want to try and get Freddie up the inside of Verstappen. There we go. I need to get him into third place so he can charge up off the back of Ocon.
Yellow flag.
Lock up for
Let's
Bottas.
see what happened there. Now we see Valtteri Bottas. And this, yes, there, that's the lockup. That's going to be a...
They're going from bad to worse for Mercedes. And I'm out of battery. But I've still got a chance. I'm going to get some big battery in the next corner under braking, and then hopefully I can use that to break away before the next DRS straight. It depends how much they close up. We're going full tilt with the tyres and the fuel to try and really push our pace. Is it enough to break away? It's not. So let's go back to looking after the car. Charge up for another couple of laps. Try again.
Yeah, take it easy.
But we have the lead. That's the important thing.
Okay, happy to lift and coast.
Copy.
We're first and third, which is a good place to be. First and second obviously would be better. Ocon takes the position from us, but that's okay because we're charging, so that probably helps us.
That's a good overtake from Alpine.
We're holding off Verstappen, but only just.
Goods, come on.
Oh, we damaged... No, I thought we damaged our underfloor. That's approaching the pit window, I think. Yeah, lap 31. So pit window opens next lap. We are close enough in the slipstream that we can afford to actually charge our battery and not really lose position to Verstappen. If we were more than half a second away, we'd have lost that position already. But we're close enough at the moment.
Good, come on.
Aston Martin with a great play there. They've moved up a place.
Tyres more.
Copy.
So we just need to push now.
Yeah, copy.
Now that we're getting into the window, we can afford to play about with our tyres a little bit more.
Stay cool, man. You're doing a good job.
Alpine just advanced.
Going to Singapore after this, a circuit that is not going to be as suitable for our car as Monza. A lot more low-speed corners there. So we really need to maximise the points we can get here.
Yeah, copy.
A double podium is a strong start, but I really want a 1-2 here. If we don't at least win the race, it'll be a disappointment, I think. Second and third I could probably live with. But I want to win this, I want a 1-2. Battery's almost charged again, which is good. Then we can really try and break away from Ocon again before the pit stops. We're probably going to undercut the AI by a lap or two as it is.
You're doing a good job. Keep pushing.
If they're going to box according to the original version strategy, they're going to be boxing around lap 33. So if we can get our pit stops out the way and onto fresh softs before they do, we've got a definite chance to eke out a little bit of extra pace, pull away from them. Someone has locked up in sector 1, that's in front of us. That is one of the Haas. Not sure which one.
That's a lockup.
Magnussen. Of course it's Magnussen. It's always Magnussen.
Let's have a look. All eyes on Kevin Magnussen here. Just a bit too heavy on the brakes, and they've locked up.
Energy's good.
Copy.
Looks like Aston Martin have just gained a race position.
Copy.
Alright, here we go. This is where we try and break away again.
Use energy if you need it. Use energy.
But this time we're breaking away from the front
Okay, copy.
rather than from further behind.
You can stop, lift and coast.
Okay, copy.
And we still got more grip than the cars behind us. And there goes Ricciardo. So the AI is going to be boxing very soon. We're going to box this lap with Felipe and box next lap with Freddie.
Yeah, copy. 1-4.
Yeah, Ricciardo is going soft as expected. Need Vesti to stop fighting for the end of this lap. We've almost got the 1 second. want to keep Vesti behind because he's going to be doing another lap. So I want him to have the slipstream on the main straight, so that he can really stretch his legs and break away.
Pit lane.
Copy.
And there we go. Vessi is going to box this lap for new softs. We are still ahead of Ricardo. There he is.
Save fuel, save fuel.
Okay.
All right, we've got the 1 second to Ocon. Someone's locked up in sector 1. Please don't be. It's not. Thank God for that.
Sounds like someone's locked up.
It was Vettel.
Here's the replay.
Turn 1.
Taking a look
Not
again.
turn 11 as the
It involves Sebastian
game seems to
Vettel,
think it
and
is.
There's the lockup. It almost got away from them.
Push more.
Okay. Yeah, I'm entering the pit.
Still preserving.
Yeah.
Is that intentional? Yes.
He's picked it up.
Oh, Verstappen's boxing this lap as well. Right, we should come out very close. Oh, Verstappen having to cut the grass. And that's dropped him all the way behind Ricciardo and Hamilton. Excellent stuff. That has worked out beautifully. Right, now we are going to attack for a lap.
Come on.
Copy.
So we just need to push now. With the tyres are happy to push.
Yeah, copy.
What I want to do now is try and break away from Ricciardo, if at all possible.
Energy if you need it.
Yeah, copy.
Or at the very least break away from Hamilton. Try and leave Verstappen behind a little bit if we can. Perez and Ocon both in the pits. Alright, we haven't been able to break away from Verstappen. Sorry, from Ricciardo, but we have broken away from Hamilton, and Verstappen has also dropped off the back of Hamilton.
Drop back a bit.
Now we're going to just preserve the tyres again. We should have a wear advantage anyway, because the cars behind us had used tyres, but we burnt ours pretty hard in those last couple of laps. So we don't have a huge grip advantage right now. Verstappen and Hamilton closing back up again as expected, but Hamilton is now dropping away from the front because he's on mediums. Doesn't quite have the pace of the softs. And now I just want to try and control the pace at the front.
We just need to charge up.
Copy.
Recharge my batteries. And just keep eking away from Hamilton. Albon and Perez are on the back of Verstappen as well, so that's going to be another thing for Verstappen to worry about. And once we've got a full battery, we can think about maybe trying to pull away from Ricciardo. We've got more pace than Ricciardo, but we need 2 laps worth of battery and a full push to break away from him. Otherwise, he's going to keep in DRS range and just close that gap right back up again. Verstappen's already got past.
Copy.
Twice I've used eke. I use that word all the time. Unfortunately, Verstappen has now closed the gap back up. Again, I was kind of hoping that he would get held up behind Hamilton more than he was, but not to be the case. But Albon and Perez are still a good couple of seconds off the pace. Hopefully they'll stay that far back and won't get involved. The less cars in this breakaway group, the easier it's going to be for us to manage performance in terms of tyres, fuel, battery. Yep, 2.3 seconds.
We're not okay on fuel.
Yeah, copy.
Oh, I was hoping he'd hold the inside line, he didn't. He let Verstappen through. That's not ideal.
Yeah, take it easy.
Yeah, copy.
The other reason why I want to preserve the tyres is, as I said, Hamilton's on medium, so if we push our softs too hard too soon, then we will potentially fall victim to Hamilton if his tyres last. It's less likely. They've already taken a bit of a beating. He's been on them for a while. But again, we also want to try and extend the gap in terms of tyre life between ourselves and Ricciardo and Verstappen, because they went on to scrubbed softs, we went on to new softs, so we already had a little bit of a wear advantage. We used up most of that trying to break away and not really being able to do it. Now we need to rebuild that gap again as we're about to get swooped by Verstappen. Alright, let's accept that we are probably not going to have the pace to preserve and keep position, and just start preserving.
This is good.
Aston Martin with a great play there. They've moved up a place.
Perez now ahead of Albon, as is Ocon. Those have got through, so I expect to see that 2.5 second gap start to close up a bit. Fifteen and a half laps to go. Still need a little bit more fuel to be saved, but not a huge amount. Nothing a couple of laps of fuel saving won't fix. But we want to get the battery sorted out first. That's the biggest drawback at the moment, is the fact that we are slow out of the corners while we're charging.
Red Bull gained a place.
And that's what's allowing everyone to get past us. Not having any of that oomph of deployment on acceleration. That's why I'm really looking forward to the new trickle charge feature. Well, I say feature. Commands in the driver commands for F123, where you can tell your driver to just
Got loads of energy.
save little bits of battery here and there without doing a full recharge run like we're doing right now. So you can still stay relatively competitive and not leave yourself vulnerable the way we've been leaving ourselves vulnerable. Again, something I think should have been in the first game, but glad it's definitely going to be in the second game. And it makes me wonder just how many of the features that were missing from this version of the game were deliberate, and just some were just lack of foresight or lack of understanding. I think there's probably a bit of both in that. You want to keep some features in reserve for future iterations of the game. Don't want to throw everything you've got in game 1, because what are you then going to do to improve it for game 2 and get people to still buy it, other than just update the roster? But yeah, you can't leave too much out, because then people go, it's bare bones, it's a bag of shit, not worth the money, and won't buy the sequel on principle, which is the principle I employed with Destiny. I was really unhappy with the way that Bungie kept messing with the game, and Activision stripped out big chunks of the game to then sell back as DLC. And the price points that they were setting for that DLC, and after a year of a game with very little content and expensive add-ons, and they finally then introduced microtransactions on top of that, which had always been a case of we're charging for the DLC so we don't have to do microtransactions, and then they did microtransactions anyway. That was the point where I'm like, yeah, fuck this, I'm done, and stopped playing Destiny and refused to play Destiny 2 on principle. I have ranted about Destiny on more than one occasion over the years. Right, batteries are fully charged. Don't have to worry about that anymore. Perez has now pretty much caught the back of this train. Verstappen is into the leads. His tyres are in better shape than Ricciardo's. Ours are now in much better shape than both Ricciardo and Verstappen. Just need to make sure we don't lose touch with the front two, fighting amongst ourselves here, which we're in danger of doing if we're not careful. I really don't like imposing team orders on my drivers, but we may have to with this circuit.
Happy to push.
Copy.
Right, what's Hamilton's tyres looking like? 55%. Okay, so we should have a big pace advantage over him. We haven't got the fastest lap yet. We did say that we would try and get that. It's just a financial reward. There's no point for it this season. I mean, points galore next season. Not that we're having a next season. 25 points for the win, back to top 10 places paying points. Double points in the last race, point for pole position, point for fastest lap. It's kind of a shame that we're not doing another season, because I would be interested to see how that kind of works out, but never mind. We'll be playing the new, shiny new version of the game instead by that point. Alright, let's get the last of that fuel saving done that we need to.
Some lift and coast will help that.
Yeah, copy.
Looks like Aston Martin have just gained a race position.
Drop back a bit.
Copy.
Best is driving well right now.
Red Bull moved up.
Felipe too, for that matter. Let's not leave him out. We are close to making the breakaway. I don't want to go too early, but at the same time I don't want to leave it too long if I want to have a chance at getting that fastest lap as well. I haven't got enough grip left in the tyres to achieve that target. And I've left it too long. We've got another yellow flag briefly in sector 1.
I think we've had a car run wide. Let's take a closer look. Now,
Joe
we
just
see the
putting his
Williams
car
here.
in the gravel there on the
Well, I
exit
don't know what they were
of
thinking
the
there.
second chicane. Almost got the fuel down to fuel positive. Tyres in excellent shape right now. Really been looking after them specifically to be able to try and sprint at the end. Okay, let's start putting Verstappen under some pressure again.
Push now.
Okay, copy.
Gonna do one more lap of conserve on the fuel as well. Just give me a little reserve fuel, just in case.
We're good to push.
Yep, copy.
Hamilton getting a little closer to braking there. Just figured it would probably be time to turn the tyres up slightly on Felipe there.
You can stop lift and coast.
Copy.
No saving required.
Yeah.
There's the power of the slipstream, and now Vesti is going to sprint.
Aston Martin with a great play there. They've moved up a place.
Use energy.
Yeah, copy.
Kind of got boxed in, stuck behind Verstappen there. I was hoping to be past him going into the chicane.
We just need to charge up.
Copy.
So use energy.
Yeah, copy.
Do everything you can, mate.
Yeah.
You're doing a good job.
Looks like Aston Martin have
I'm
just
worried
gained a
that I'm
race
not going to be able to
position.
break away from Verstappen. Really need Vesti to break the gap here. He's not going to do it.
This is good. Come on.
We've broken away from Ricciardo though.
Yeah, take it easy.
Copy.
So we've got time to charge up
okay,
and
do what you want
then
to speed.
reposition for another push in the last lap or two. We've still got tyre advantage over Verstappen. We have set the new. Oh, we did set the new fastest lap, and then Verstappen immediately yonked it from us.
Pick up the pace a bit.
Copy.
Okay, so we're about to see Verstappen take the lead. That's okay. It's not ideal, but it's okay. Ricciardo and Perez immediately caught back up again. Again, it's okay as long as they don't pass us. I think just to be on the safe side, let's
Push
stop
a bit more.
looking after
Okay,
the
copy.
tyres. They've already got enough left to not really need to do that.
5 more laps. 5 more laps.
Copy.
gives us a better chance of jumping Verstappen and or, you know, holding back Ricciardo. Oh, we get such a good exit through the parabolica.
4 more laps, 4 more laps.
Just give Vesti that little bit of extra deployment there, just on that exit of the chicane. Keep position, having just taken it. Now it's all about keeping Verstappen behind and getting Felipe in front of him.
Three more laps, 3 more laps.
Red Bull moved up.
All right, 3 laps. Verstappen's tyres looking a little ropey.
Okay, energy's good.
Yep, copy.
So back off.
Copy.
Ocon's suddenly come from nowhere. He's up to 5th. I mean, we've seen the Alpines looking quick recently. Ocon just came from nowhere. Past Perez and Hamilton, Albon. Leclerc a long way back. The Ferrari's nowhere at the moment. Oh, Ricciardo's having a go.
Still a lot to play for. We can push more.
Yeah.
Happy to push.
Yeah, copy.
Oh, he's not going to overtake.
2 more laps, 2 more laps.
Alright, got to get him on the next lap.
Energy if you need it.
Yeah, copy.
I was looking at the wrong driver
Use energy
commands
if you need it.
when I was trying to
Copy.
instruct to get past Verstappen there. Ricciardo's tyres are non-existent.
Doing a good job, keep pushing.
So so we're happy to push the tyres hard now, push the tyres.
Yeah, copy.
Good job.
Aston Martin with a great play there.
Go
They've
on, make
moved
the
up
lunge,
a
make the
place.
lunge. Ah, I didn't make the lunge.
They'll come to us.
Yeah, copy.
Alright, this is it. This is the lap that's for all the marbles.
Last lap, last lap.
Have I got enough left in these tyres to get past? Trying to go around the outside of Lesmo 2. Couldn't quite break the 1 second. Got to get him into a Ascari. Be brave, he's not brave. Come on, get him in the parabolica. Verstappen's blocking him. Oh, go on, up the inside. Go on, go on. Get him, get him, get him, get him. Get him. No!
We need to charge here.
Yeah.
Ah, first and third. Well, we'll take first and third.
So that
Double
is
podium, we got the
checkered
win.
We can take a look now. And with that, Aston Martin picks up the win.
They can be really proud of what they've achieved today. A result like that doesn't just fall into your lap.
A great race for Freddie. That's going to extend his gap at the top of the table. Unfortunately, there is going to be a bit of a gap now building between Verstappen and Felipe. But with the two Alpines finishing ahead of Perez, that also gives us big points over Red Bull in the Constructors. We come away with 14 points. They are going to come away with 7. Yeah. Puts us 37 points clear now, I think, in the Constructors' Championship. Let's have a quick look down the rest of the order. Hamilton 7th, Albon 8th, the two Ferraris not in the points, Leclerc 9th, Norris jumping ahead of Sainz across the line there, just less than a tenth of a second. Pips him there. Russell and Bottas in 12th and 13th. Disappointing race for Mercedes, Bottas in particular. And then Tsunoda, Zhou, Schumacher, Magnussen, Gasly, Vettel and Stroll.
What an incredible outcome for Aston Martin's driver. Aston Martin having an extremely good day at the track.
You can see that the team runs like a well-oiled machine. Everything was precise and on point this weekend.
After an intense weekend, the team ends in first place in the constructor standings.
Meet us next at the Marina Bay Circuit for a breathtaking race through the streets of Singapore.
So there we go. First and third. Not quite the result I was hoping we could get, but very, very close. We got the win. That was the important thing. We stopped Max from getting maximum points. So that's going to do us a power of good in both championships. We had the chance of a 1-2, just couldn't quite get it done. We probably pushed Felipe a bit too hard at the start of his second stint. We also pushed early in that second stint when we could have maybe not and just held position. Looked after the car a bit more, and then maybe we could have broken away. It's so hard to do it, especially when you're 2 or 3 seasons in. It's so hard to break away at Monza because the slipstream is so powerful. But yeah, happy with the result. So there we see confirmation of the drivers' standings. It was Felipe who was winning the championship. So actually we're 1-2 in the championship. I thought our drivers were the other way round. So Freddie goes top by 4 points from Max. Just 2 points ahead of his teammate, who is now 2 points ahead of Max. Perez gets a point to kind of solidify fourth for him. He's now 14 points clear of Hamilton. No points for either of the McLarens. No points for either of the Mercedes. And the Alpines do score. So good points for them as a team, but it's not going to help their drivers too much in the championship unless that kind of pace and form continues, and they might move up the order a little bit. Let's take a look at the Constructors' Championship. We have 154 points to 117 now, so we have a very nice 34-point gap. 37-point gap. Can't count. Yeah, we're 37 points clear of Red Bull at the top of the Constructors' standings, which is really good, because some of these circuits coming up in the latter part of the season, not going to be kind to us. The next one in particular, not going to be an amazing circuit for us. McLaren, no change for them, or Mercedes, or Ferrari, all of those teams failing to score. But the battle for fifth between Ferrari and Alpine is heating up. Those 5 points scored by Ricciardo and Ocon have put them within striking distance of the Ferrari team there. So that's going to be a very, very close run scrap between those two teams. Good experience points earned by both of our drivers. An exceptional race reward for Freddie. 15 overtakes, 26 defences, 21 failed overtakes, 21 failed defences. A good race for Felipe as well, also given an exceptional rating, 12 overtakes, 22 defences, 27 failed overtakes and 12 failed defences. We do get a development point for Felipe for sure. We might get one for Freddie if we're lucky. Depends on how much they've earned passively over the week as well. We achieved our sponsor objectives apart from, I think, the fastest lap. Yep, we didn't get that, but it only cost us 42 grand. We completed our streaks, so that's 7 million in the bank. Very nice. We have an email that requires our attention. We've got a change for the financial regulations for next season. So, what are they proposing? Reducing the prize money for the top teams and increasing it for the bottom half of the grid, apart from last. So 9th, 8th, 7th, 6th and 5th will all see an increase in their prize funds. And the top 3 will see a reduction. Yeah, we'll go for that. Tighten the field up even more, potentially, for next season. The cost cap is definitely going to be something that is far harder to keep in, I think, next iteration of the game. They've already suggested as such. They haven't really gone into too much detail, but they have said that it's going to be more important than in the next game to consider costs of everything. Which is good, because it's too easy financially in this game. Engineers have completed our new chassis. So let's take a look at what that does to our car. So it's going to give us a little boost to speed, high-speed cornering. It's going to improve our low-speed, dirty air performance a bit, as well as our medium and high speed. It's going to improve our engine cooling a little bit. Let's take a look. So the only major effect it's going to have is to notch us up a few places on engine cooling. But it is going to have those minimal little effects just there. Let's go ahead and manufacture 3 of those. Next race is in 14 days. We can't rush that many in, so let's emergency 1. There we go. We'll install that on car 1, and then we'll rush manufacture another 2. There we go. Car part development. We do now have a new slot opening up. We've got 45 days until the next set of hours, the final set of hours for the season. I think I've got one major upgrade left, which I think is my side pods. Let's have a look. Yes, the one major remaining upgrade I've got is for side pods. So I've got one minor front wing and one minor chassis remaining. We are working on a front wing already. That's a major front wing update. So let's go ahead and do another minor chassis. Might as well. Just try and squeeze every last little bit of performance out of this car. So that will give us, again, a slight bump in a few different places. It will improve our low-speed dirty air. Sorry, our low-speed natural air in terms of rank, assuming no one else brings an update. Minimal gains everywhere else, but you know, we kind of need... Maybe it's time to just not focus too much on engine cooling and go focusing purely on performance. I don't really want to overdo it too much. Kind of been trying to improve the airflow on the car. Let's do that. Let's make a minor sacrifice to our engine cooling to give us a little bit of a boost in performance on this chassis. We've got 5 engineers. If we can't rush 27 days, when will that drop? That'll drop in time for Kota. I'm just wondering, this is going to be our last upgrade. Screw it. Let's do that. I'll take 27 days. So that will drop in time for Kota. Let's go ahead and do that. There we go. That project is started. And that's going to be our last upgrade for the season, I think. Because I don't think the front wing's going to come in time for us to start a new one. It's 42 days away. I don't know if we'll be able to squeeze on that major side pod upgrade as well. We might do. It'll be interesting. If I do continue playing this in my own time, which I probably won't, to be fair, then it does mean next season's car is going to be awful because it's going to have so little in the way of well, it's got no research done. It's going to be really bad at the start of next season. Right, 14 days to go. Let's go ahead and allocate that point. I should have checked my staff as well before I went ahead and did that. Let's see, what do I want to boost? Reactions. No, I want to boost his cornering. Freddie is potentially going to get a new point before the next Grand Prix as well, which is good. Luckily, we didn't have a point to allocate here. Pit crew. Still coming along nicely on front and rear jacks. That's good. Oh, our design center is now fully improved and refurbed. So we have got another project slot available, but we've got no engineers left. And no real parts to work on either. So maybe I can squeeze some research on for next season. We'll see. Everybody voted against the changes to the regulations, apart from Williams, who in last place would actually have not seen any benefit at all, but it would have seen a benefit for the other teams. It would actually probably been worse for Williams because the teams just above them would have pulled away a little bit more financially. And AlphaTauri voted for it. Everyone else voted against it. That's a bit of a surprise. Okay. Oh, we're low stock on front wings. I didn't realise. Oh, of course, we had some little oopsies in practice, didn't we? Where we got hit by 2 different drivers. So we need a couple of spare front wings. Let's go ahead and quickly manufacture a couple of those, because we're probably going to need a couple for the next Grand Prix as well. There we go. That's 2 spare in time for Singapore, which will be tomorrow's race. Anything else? Side pods, no. Underfloor suspension, they're fine. Chassis, fine. Alright. And there we go. Isaac Kajar has got a couple of points that we haven't allocated out to him. Let's go ahead and boost his cornering a bit. Freddie has got that extra point now, just in time for the next Grand Prix. Let's boost his reactions a little bit. Help him be a little bit quicker off the line, so he doesn't get jumped quite so easily, like he did in the last Grand Prix. Let's go to car setup and install the new chassis on car 2. There we go. Memorabilia room is in poor condition. Let's give it a refurb. A little bit of spit and polish. Anything else that we need to worry about? Our team hub is going to break very soon, as is our hospitality. Boardroom's not too far behind that. Everything else is okay, and there's nothing we can do in car development facilities. So factory upgrade is still 22 days away. That'll improve manufacturing performance right at the end of the season. Advance to race day. There we go. Wind tunnel refurb is done. Front wings are done. Good stuff. So that's where we're going to end tonight's stream, where we put ourselves in a very strong position in the constructors with that 37-point gap. But Marina Bay is a circuit that is going to be a little bit crueler to us. There's a lot of low-speed stuff on that circuit, which is where we are a little bit weaker. And this will be the last time that we race on this configuration of Marina Bay, because that final sort of chicane that goes under the flyover is going away. So once you come out of that hairpin at the pinch on the left-hand side of the track map and start accelerating towards that series of 90-degree turns, that is now going away. So that first chicane and the second chicane, where it goes to the right and then back to the left, it's all going to be flattened out. They're going to stick to just the original road and go all the way along to that third chicane, and that's going to be the layout for this year in real life. So it'll be interesting to see that take effect in the next game, and also in the season's Grand Prix for real. It'll be interesting to see how much of a change that makes to the lap, and hopefully it adds another overtaking opportunity for cars, because it's kind of lacking a little bit on this circuit. But yeah, we'll see how we do tomorrow night. Fingers crossed we can take advantage of AI always doing strange things with tyres. We might go aggressive and go with a 2-stop soft medium, or medium soft. This is a track where safety cars are quite prevalent as well, so we'll see how that goes. But that's all from me for tonight. Thanks for watching. I am Jim Bob, and I'll be back with some more F1 Manager very soon.